Welcome back, everyone. It's here. And today I've got some r/best of for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading you the posts, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. This post was gathered by Choice Evidence 1983. Originally posted to r/am_I_the_asshole, and the original OP is u/commercial tone 620. Am I the asshole for leaving my Bumble date stranded at a restaurant after she admitted she was going to her guy friend's place after the date? Posted December 7th, 2024. A couple of months ago, I matched with Anna on Bumble. I thought we vibed really well. She had a really nice and funny demeanor, and we had lots of engaging conversations on FaceTime. We set up our first dinner date last week. I proposed a really nice restaurant, which was sort of far from where we live, but I really wanted to treat Anna because I thought she was special. Anna asked if I could pick her up and then after the date, drop her off at her best friend's place. I didn't mind at all. Anna said she had movie night with her best friend. I picked Anna up and we went to the restaurant. The date went better than expected, we vibed really well. Anna also had drinks since I was the designated driver. However, right at the end of the date, Anna asked if I would drop her off at Josh's. I was initially confused and then realized Josh was her guy best friend. Anna instantly realized what she said and it sort of became awkward. Anna apologized and I told Anna there was no reason to apologize. I was curious about who Josh was, so I asked Anna, and Anna said he was her guy best friend, and they occasionally have movie nights. Anna said she wanted to be honest with me because she really liked me and saw a future with me. And she admitted they sometimes make out during these movie nights, but it doesn't go further than that. I appreciated Anna's honesty, but this whole thing felt like a huge gut punch. I was maybe in my feelings, but I just couldn't do it anymore. I told Anna to just ask Josh to pick her up, and I paid for my portion of the dinner and left. Anna looked really sad when I ended the date and left. I felt sort of guilty about it later and called my sister to ask her if what I had done was right. My sister said I shouldn't have left Anna stranded at the restaurant, especially after Anna was really sweet and honest with me. I told my sister how could I be expected to take Anna for a really fancy dinner, then drop her off at her guy friend's house where she would then make out with him. I had enough self-respect not to do that. Was I the asshole? Am I the asshole has no consensus bot, but OP received mixed reactions. Top comments. Commenter 1. Not the asshole. She asked you to drop her off at some guy's place and that they normally make out. Who says that on a date? And who even does that? Commenter 2. Nothing like taking a girl on a date. She tells you the date was great, she likes you, you start to feel like you got lucky on a dating app, then she asks you to drop her off at her friends with benefits guy. Not the asshole. I get the feeling there's going to be a really fine line drawn down the middle between my female and male audience and how they interpret this because I'm on the fence here. I would have probably at least gotten them a Lyft or an Uber, but I don't think I would have just stranded them at the restaurant. I don't think that's because I understand why the guy did what he did. I think that he probably could have approached it better because I'd be upset if a girl or a guy I was on a date with said, hey, mind dropping me off my friend's place so we could make out and watch a movie? Like, I don't know how to respond to that. So yeah, I kind of get why the guy may have short-circuited and made a few mistakes, but there is an update December 8th, 2024. Hey everyone, just a quick update. I appreciate all the comments and the different opinions on my previous post. However, at the end of the day, the reason I posted it was because I felt guilty about what I did. And I agreed more with the commenters stating what I did was wrong. Also, my sister has never once given me bad advice in life, and I think her assessment was right this time too. Since I left Anna at the restaurant last week, she texted me a couple of times, but I just ignored those messages. I opened the messages a couple of hours ago, and I was sort of surprised. Instead of lashing out at me, she just apologized again, and said she was willing to stop seeing Josh if it meant we could continue our relationship. She said after the dinner, she just took an Uber back home and didn't go to Josh's. Oh. I texted Anna that there was no reason to apologize and I shouldn't have left her stranded at the restaurant, and I should have also paid for her meal, since I was the one who invited her to the expensive restaurant. I didn't even think about that aspect of it. I asked Anna for her Venmo. Good man. But Anna said she didn't care about the money and asked if we could continue our relationship. However, I didn't have the same feelings for Anna anymore, so I just texted Anna up front that I don't think we're compatible and I don't want to continue this. We chatted a bit more and Anna was very respectful of my decision but admitted that she was sad. I too admitted it was tough, but it's best for everyone that this doesn't continue further. That was the final text, and I definitely think there are valuable lessons learned from this entire thing. Thank you all for your input. Commenter 1. I actually think this is fairly reasonable. It's nice that you both recognized your own mistakes and what happened, and that, at least from what it sounds like, you both were respectful. That being said, I agree that this relationship probably isn't a great idea to keep going. I wish you all the best out there. Commenter 2. I wonder what the next steps look like for Anna. This arrangement with Josh will likely torpedo any further relationship chances if she doesn't immediately bring it up and ensure her date is okay with it. Anyway, good on you. If I was in this position, I think I would have given Anna another shot. That might just be me though, because I'm a fairly forgiving person, and sometimes that can definitely get the best of me. I understand why LP made the decision they made, but I know that I personally would have given Anna a second chance, and that's just a difference of who people are, I guess. But I'm actually really curious to hear what you all think about this one, because I know that you all have just incredibly different opinions on things when it comes to how people act in certain situations. And this is a really nuanced one that I would love to see some more comments and opinions on, because I feel bad for both parties in this scenario, and I don't think this is a situation where anyone here's the asshole. Nobody here sucks. It was just people made mistakes, they made up for it, and ultimately, possibly, sadly, right person, wrong time, and ugh. This post was gathered by Direct Caterpillar 77, originally posted off-site on Ask a Manager by Allison Green. Published date is March 2nd, 2024. Employer rejected me, then sent a list of everything I did wrong. I'm a younger person who is job searching for something full-time for the first time. Haven't been having a lot of luck, of course, due to the state of the world, but I recently got an interview where I made it all the way to the final round and was rejected. At first, the company was really professional about it. They were kind enough to let me know I'd been rejected and thanked me for my time. But then, about 3 days later, I got an email from one of the interviewers, a different one than the one who sent the formal rejection email. The final round had been in front of a panel. The email body text said, "Here's some tips for future interviews," and attached was a Word document with a super detailed list of everything I'd done wrong, including that my answer to the question, "What's your favorite book?" was too pretentious. Note, the job wasn't for a library or any other book-related field. Although he'd been part of the final round interview panel, he hadn't been present during previous interviews, and this wasn't the first communication I got directly from this guy. Here are all the comments from the document. It was a financial/stock company, but the job wasn't directly connected to stocks. It was a copywriter position for writing some ads/website updates. I can tell you're not passionate about stocks. Every member of this company has been passionately investing in the stock market as a hobby for years. You had basic technical knowledge, and that's it. In general, you seem to lack passion. Your answers are very thorough and well thought out, but lack passion. What are you passionate about? I couldn't tell. You were clearly nervous throughout. You lack confidence. When you asked about an issue you had overcome, you mentioned something that had happened in a job not related to our industry. You didn't seem to have an interest in company culture. We mentioned we are a company with lots of events and training workshops, and you didn't ask any further questions there. Your response to the favorite book question sounded pretentious and insincere. Les Miserables simply isn't a book people read for fun. You weren't enjoying yourself at all. We're a friendly company, and you were tense and nervous the entire time we talked to you. You let your nerves show. Is this normal? It's left me feeling really terrible, and according to him, I did so many things wrong. It's killing my confidence. Hearing that I lack passion is really scary. I'm scared it'll affect me in the job search going forward. It's not an issue I ever thought I had, but now it's something that worries me daily. So in my eyes, this isn't something normal. I've never encountered this, but my guess would be is that because OP applied for a position in a stock company, that's the reason why they have this kind of attitude. There is a 3-year later update, so let's take a look at this. Update, December 5th, 2024, 3 years later. 3 or so years ago, I emailed you concerned about an interviewer who had sent me feedback for a job I didn't get, including saying I lacked passion and some other stuff. I was the one whose favorite book was Les Miserables, and he said I was pretentious. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly or not. I know it's French, but I'm not good at pronouncing French words. Any longtime fans of the main channel know I have a gripe with the French. Anyways, old references aside, as many commenters guessed, he was trying to hit on me in a negging sort of way. He later tried to ask me out via LinkedIn DMs. Needless to say, it did not work. It took a while, and many other unsuccessful interviews, none of which were as rough as that one, but I eventually found a job in a field I had never considered, where I could put my writing skills to work with much less of a bro culture, compared to writing for stock/finances. I'm still in the job, got a huge promotion this year, and have even written articles about how great of a book Les Miserables is, and it's still my favorite, and I still reread it regularly. I hate this because when I look up how to say that, I get different results on every single site that I visit. What prompted me to think of sending you an update is this. I recently, as part of my job, interviewed a longtime idol of mine, a celebrity I've looked up to for years, and he said to me, at the end of the interview, apropos of nothing, that he had read some of my previous work and could tell how passionate I was about my writing, and that he was so happy to be interviewed by someone so passionate about their work. As for Mr. Interview Feedback, no idea what he's doing, and no desire to know, but I'm in my dream job and happier than I've ever thought I could be. Thank you again for all of your advice. It's behavior like this that gives finance bros the bad name that they have. You have normal people who just work in finance and do their job, then you got people like this who make it their entire personality and honestly just make it a goddamn train wreck and give everyone in that little field a bad name. Granted, this type of behavior is extremely common. There's a reason why a lot of people don't like finance bros. Part of me actually wonders if the reason why OP didn't get the job initially is because this finance bro was trying to find every single little reason he possibly could to prevent her from getting the job, so he could ask her out and not have any kind of workplace drama of asking out the new hiree. So then, as an attempt to ask her out, he decided to write up everything that he told people for why she's not a good candidate, sent it to her in an attempt of, hey, wanna maybe talk about this and explore possibilities in your future? That include me? It didn't go over well, obviously. What a weird fucking tactic to try to use. And that's not even commenting on how it would have been a different fucked up entirely if this wasn't even him attempting to ask her out and just sent her this list as like you don't really have a lot of passion, and you don't really talk a lot about stocks. And when we asked you about the greatest issue you had ever overcome, and it wasn't about stocks, we just knew that you weren't fit for the company. Kind of fucking logic is that? Imagine applying for like a copywriting position for a comic book industry, and they're like, yeah, your greatest accomplishment just wasn't related to Spider-Man, so we're not gonna hire you. This post was gathered by Direct Caterpillar 77. My, male, 31, wife, 28, wants a divorce because I live an entirely different reality with my first love, female 29, in my dreams. The original OP to this is Intrepid Reporter 9. Original post was January 18th, 2021. I, male 31, have been with my wife, female 28, for 3 years. We had a short engagement, married quickly, and have a perfectly ordinary existence. I love her, she loves me. We do taxes, housework, watch movies, all the normal things. No physical cheating on either side as far as I know. But here's the thing. I am a lucid dreamer, which means I can, to an extent, control my dreams, which is something I find cool as it allows me to go on adventures while I sleep. It also makes scary dreams not so bad because I can just wake myself out of them. Over the last year or so, I've been having a reoccurring dream about my ex, my first love, female 29. Truth be told, I never got over her. We were together for 5 years, from 15 to 17 to 20 to 22. We broke up after I graduated from college because she didn't want to move from New York to South Carolina with me, which is where the biggest industry for my field is. I was crushed, but moved on, and we've spoken sporadically over the years, although we never crossed any lines. I will admit that I've kept up with her own social media a bit, but nothing stalkerish. Well, a year ago, she announced she was getting married, and I experienced a resurgence of feelings for her, although I never acted on them or told her. That same night, I dreamed about her for the first time in years. In the dream, she showed up at my door and asked me if I wanted to get coffee. I said yes, of course. The dream, which was not a lucid dream, ended there. It felt so real. I couldn't shake the feeling once I woke up. It felt like we were actually reconnecting. Since then, I've dreamed about her several times a week, and I've practiced becoming lucid, so I've been able to control the outcome more times than not. We've lived a whole life together over the past year. Everything from dates to a trip to Paris together, which we visited while in college. We even re-walked the same paths we did in real life. It got to the point I was looking forward to going to sleep to be with her. Fast forward to today. My wife told me she felt distant from me, and I started to feel guilty because I thought what I was doing was harmless, but she's obviously noticed a change in me. So, I confessed. About all of it. At first, she thought I was joking, but when she realized I was serious, she accused me of cheating on her and told her mom and sisters, who are calling me a cheating weirdo. She even threatened to tell my ex so she'll know what a fucking loser I am. Now, I get it's not anything a woman would want to hear, but it's not like I physically cheated. I don't want to lose my wife, but I don't think she can forgive me for this. Too long didn't read, I live an entirely separate life with my ex in my dreams, and now my wife wants to divorce me, but I really love her still and don't want to lose her. Do we still have a chance? Oh boy. Anyways, relevant comments. Soul Angelic. Yeah, no, I think this might be a lost cause. I would certainly consider this cheating, and I think that it does indeed warrant a divorce. You clearly don't really love her, at least not as much as you love your ex. OP responds, I do love my wife, which is why I married her. I just also have feelings for my ex, which I should have been honest about before we got married. I didn't mean for this to happen, but once it did, I wasn't able to stop it. Living that life with my ex while sleeping felt like getting to experience what I missed out on in young adulthood. With that being said, my wife left overnight for a hotel and I don't know if she's coming back. I feel awful for hurting her. Elzobot comments, I'm asking this genuinely, not trying to be snarky at all. What did you think your wife's reaction was going to be? Did you expect what happened, or did you think she would be more accepting? OP responds, I knew she would be upset, but I felt I owed her an explanation once she communicated that she felt distant. I didn't want to gaslight her perception. I just hadn't known that she even noticed a difference in me. I just didn't think she would leave. She's turned off her location, I have no idea where she is or if she's alright, and her family won't speak to me now. I do love her and would like for our marriage not to end, but that seems inevitable now as I process this. I don't even know how I feel about this because this would be soul crushing to find out. Like, imagine learning that your husband or wife or significant other has spent the last year excited to go to bed so they could live an entirely different reality with one of their exes. How do you, it's not physical cheating, and OP was very clear to distinguish that in the beginning that he recognizes this is a form of cheating, but it's not physical, it's emotional. It's not stated by OP, but this is emotional cheating, even if the person isn't there to reciprocate it. There is an update that we will be getting to, but I have so many questions I have to just ask while they're still in my head. Because the first one is, like, OP very clearly was not happy in the relationship when he lists things that we love to do together and the first thing he said was taxes? Dude, why was that your first thing you thought of when you talk about how much you love doing normal things with her? Like, that felt weird to me to see taxes pop up first. And the next one, which this is definitely more of a hypothetical to your audience, let's say this was a similar situation, but instead of it being a real person, it was a fictional character or an OC, and your significant other was doing this same thing, but with a fictional character or one of their original characters. How would you feel about that? Because it's not a real person, but it's definitely kind of that's really weird, right? Is it different? Is it the same? Like, I have so many questions. Like, is the creepiness coming from the aspect that he's this desperate or in like living out his ideal life in his dreams? Or is the creepiness aspect that he's doing that, but it's focused on someone else who they've split and it's doing that without their knowledge or consent? And would that apply to a fictional character? Because I'm struggling to wrap my brain around this one. Like, I recognize that it is a fundamentally flawed thing to do, but I don't have a point of perspective to think on this. Anyways, the update. January 20th, 2021. 2 days ago, I posted about the fallout that occurred after I, 31 male, admitted to my wife, 28 female, that I have been lucid dreaming about my ex and first love, 29, over the past year. After a major blowup where my wife called me every name in the book and got her family involved, which I understand completely, so please don't take this wrong, my wife left. I didn't know her whereabouts for over 24 hours. Early this morning, about 3 a.m., she came home and told me she wanted to file for divorce. She didn't want to have to compete with a phantom and deserved better than a shitbag like me. But she doesn't want to move out or start the process because it's a pandemic, and she doesn't want to live on one income. We make roughly the same amount of money, me $90,000 a year after taxes and her $85,000. I tried to apologize to her for all the hurt I caused by making her feel like she wasn't enough, to assure her that I do love her even though I still love my ex, and explain to her that I've never physically cheated or had any inappropriate conversation with my ex, but she won't budge. She doesn't want me anymore, and I can't blame her. I was selfish, and I shouldn't have carried on what I now accept to be a one-sided emotional affair, so I agreed to stay together for financial purposes for 2 years or until the pandemic is over, which comes first, but she's kicked me out of our bedroom and basically claimed the second floor for herself. There's so much tension in the house right now, so I left as soon as the sun came up and went to a coffee shop to do some work. While there, I received a message on Instagram from my ex that my ex-wife sent her a long message from her own account telling her about everything that I told her. I froze because I hadn't spoken to her in a long time, but she saw that I had read the message and followed up an hour later, telling me she needed to know the truth. So, again, I confessed, expecting to be berated and called a loser again, because I had nothing else to lose, but she didn't think that my dreams about her were weird or creepy. She thought it was sweet that I still loved her, especially with her knowing that I've never tried to have inappropriate conversations or force my way into her life. I'm aware that her not condemning my actions doesn't make them right or take away from the hurt that I caused my wife, but knowing that she didn't think negatively of me made me feel better. We messaged back and forth for a couple of hours talking about our relationship and how it ended and the choices we made. In that, I learned that she and her fiancé called off their engagement a few months ago. I also told her my wife was going to divorce me because of the revelation. She expressed her condolences, and that was the end of the conversation. I'm home now, and I can't help but wonder if this is the universe's way of putting my ex and I back on the path of reconciliation. Hate me if you want, but I made a mistake, and I hurt my wife, and my marriage is over now. Or going to be. But knowing that the person I ruined my marriage over doesn't think I'm the scum of the earth is worth its weight in gold. I don't know what'll happen now, but I can't imagine a friendship with my ex won't blossom from this, at the very least. I know this won't make my wife happy since she contacted my ex to further shame me, but I may just not tell her. We are, after all, divorcing. I hope the next few months and years can result in healing for both my wife and myself, and that we'll both live happy, fulfilled lives. Too long didn't read. I lived an entirely separate life with my ex in my dreams, and now my wife wants to divorce me. Now my ex and I have reconnected. Relevant comments. Deleted user. I hope you don't take it out on her when you realize that your old flame isn't the person she was in your dreams, because that was you. You were in love with another version of you. She'll be someone else entirely. OP responds, I'm also a different person, and I wasn't in love with myself. The love for her influenced the dreams. The same deleted user. When I say she'll be someone else entirely, I don't mean that your ex will have changed since you last knew her. I mean that your ex, in actual real life, will be someone other than the person you spent so much time with in your dreams. That person in your dreams was not your ex in a meaningful way. She was an amalgamation of your memories of her, patched together using new material you created of a whole cloth to please yourself. She won't ever be able to live up to the fantasy that you constructed because the fantasy woman was you. The things she did and said were things you invented, just like every character an author writes is a version of themselves. You've invested countless hours in serious emotion into a character that you created who is really only loosely based on your ex. Since a real woman can't read your mind like a dream character can, and because a real woman doesn't exist only to make you happy, she will not, in real life, be the same person from your dreams. That may be disappointing to you when you realize it, so try not to take it out on the girl. OP responds, fair, but I'm not expecting her to be. The dream could never compare to the warmth and love she radiates in real life. It was a coping mechanism. Real life would be better. I Love Sharks 101 responds to that with, you sound absolutely obsessed with this woman, and to be honest, it's quite disturbing. I imagine much of who she is has changed over the years. What if she's not the person you remembered? She will never compare to the fantasy, and honestly, your obsession over her perfection is rather frightening. I'm gonna be honest, I've been just sitting in the vocal booth for like 10 minutes trying to think of how to even like piece together what this was, and I got almost nothing. Like, there is a deeply frightening reality attached to this, and I really do worry about OP's future and how it's gone over the past 3-ish years, because this whole scenario is just greatly uncomfortable. Like, I'm trying to figure out where to even begin, because on one hand, you have the fact that his ex is weirdly into it, and I'm wondering if it's just the loneliness of the recent calling off the marriage with her fiance and them splitting up, and she's into the fact that there's someone who's this obsessed with her. And then there's the wife who went out of her way, or I guess ex-wife at this point, to like humiliate OP, which I understand, like in full, but that also does just suck, because on one hand, I feel bad for OP that their wife is going out of their way to essentially humiliate them. On the other hand, I'm glad that the wife went out of her way to let the person know that, hey, my husband's doing some wacko shit about you. But it backfired, and it turns out that she was into that. So it's like, oh God, I am very just deeply like unsure how to feel about this. Like, I stand by what I said previously, in between the two updates, but I think it's just even more cemented, and I am just kind of at a loss right now, if I'm gonna be 100% honest. Hey, welcome to the outro. Don't forget, this whole thing is basically brought to you by GamerSupps. If you like caffeine, then I can't recommend GamerSupps enough. Use code Oz at checkout to support the channel. And I do actually use this product. It's replaced all other sources of caffeine for me because I feel good. It doesn't have any of that extra stuff that a pre-workout blend might have. It's with a couple of the extra things to make it so you don't crash as hard. It's good. I like it. Personally, if you really want a good flavor, try the Soda Pressing Pear or even the Dragon Fruit Punch. Those two are my personal favorites right now.